that's your dream. Represents better me.
Man, this has been happening a lot lately. You might be sitting there saying, we don't want to see you make a video when you're parked. And I get that. I mean, it makes for just a boring video. But I mean, this is part of it. If you're getting into trucking and you're like, oh, it's going to be all driving down the road, especially like with Amazon, all these little stops they have, all these little, oh, you have to wait till this prescribed time until you can do that. This is a lot of it. I'll tell you what's up. Just before 6 tonight, I was at home. And I got a call. That's the reason why I felt confident this one would go through. And I for sure got this one wrong, because usually when they call me, very rarely has one of those loads gotten canceled. And anyway, they're calling me up. They had this little one going from HSD2 up to like Orange Show Road up in San Bernardino, and it was like they're offering a good rate for it and everything like that. I will say, if you're negotiating rates, stick to your rate, stick to your start time. I always say that. The reason I do is because I think it was just before 6, and he's like, oh, it's for an 18:30 start time, and it's like, there's no way I could do that. The soonest I could be here would be 10 o'clock. So that's what I set it up for. Kind of negotiated to like $600. That's where I wanted it to be. Two things to stay firm on. It's their job to get you to come down. It's your job to stay at the rate that you want to be at. So, or at least get the rate that you want to be at. So got down here, thought I was doing everything right. It's right now 9:03. I just got done checking in at HSD2, and the first thing the guy tells me is, he's like, man, I hope you're not here for an empty. And it's like, yep, I am. And he's like, oh, you're gonna have to call ROC. And like, I know what to do. I'll have to check and see when my departure time is. I'm sure if my arrival time was 10, I'm sure it's not till like 11 or 11:15. No point in calling ROC now, but I feel like my last couple of videos have had loads like this in there where it's like, you start thinking like, okay, if this load had gone through, $600 is a decent way to start my night, get up to San Bernardino, see what's dropping. But as it is, it's just going to turn into just a couple hours here of just sitting, waiting until after my scheduled departure time, calling ROC. And I mean, this is just the time in the night where, I said in a previous video, get a hobby, get a dog, start a YouTube channel. This is where I'm going to go walk Lou and make some videos for you guys. And then there's nights like this where everything just kind of falls through. I can't blame me for trying to get that load from earlier, but it just completely fell through. I've been sitting here watching the load board for like the last 2 hours, paying attention to it. They haven't dropped a single load. I mean, not just one. It kind of makes me wonder, like, is this like their plan to kind of like, send us out here, kind of get us chasing these rainbows and not ever really touching that pot of gold, maybe kind of beat us into accepting blocks? I have no idea. I'm not falling for that. It's the first time in a while where I've had one like this happen on one where they called me. Usually, I mean, if you book this off the load board, if you do something like that, yeah, these will sometimes fall through, but this is the first time in a long time where I've had them, I've had one get canceled that they called me on. Kind of annoying. Usually when you talk to those people, it's always kind of like high pressure sales. They want you to get there. What's your best ETA? All that kind of stuff. And to have one go through like this, just a little bit disheartening. But the real disheartening part is keeping an eye on this load board for the last 2 hours and just not seeing a damn thing drop. Not even one. Not even. I mean, like, keep me excited. Keep me in the game. But yeah, just kind of. Did I come out tonight for $175? I might have. And as sad as that may be, it's like, I figure I gotta show stuff like this, because I like showing the full thing that is Amazon, and this is part of it. I will take this time, since it doesn't seem like I'm going to be doing anything else. I saw a load earlier, and I always tell, I always talk about, like, on these trailer recoveries, be sure, like, I'll tell you why I would never book a trailer recovery off of the load board. Why I would only do it after talking to a person, whether that's through spot capacity or them, like calling you back, something like that. They, sleeping in late today, planning on working tonight, and I was kind of paying, I think it was like 3 o'clock. They put this one that caught my eye. It was a trailer recovery, and ironically, it was like 2 miles from my house. I mean, if you zoom in on the little map and you start looking at it, it's like, oh my gosh, this is like 2 miles from my house. I mean, right there at the golf course. The same golf course I use as like the backdrop on a lot of my relay rates videos, and I'm like, there's no way there's an Amazon trailer there. Well, then I see the coordinates that they provide, and I look, and the coordinates lead me to a site in Cajon, California. Now that makes sense. It was heading to Palmdale, I think. 15 north is the way you would take to get to Palmdale, you know, going through Cajon there. But there's a big difference if you're not familiar with Southern California. There's a big difference in Cajon, California and El Cajon, California. Probably about 120, 130 miles difference. But they've got the map showing this trailer like practically right on top of my house. And then the GPS coordinates up in Cajon, and it's like, you start, like, think of all the scenarios there if you booked that. Like, let's say if I was new or just didn't know what I was doing, and I'm like, oh, this trailer's right by my house, I'm gonna book it. And I do, and then they're like, oh, well, yeah, you're due there, and, you know, I'd wait for a time for it to be where I could make it, and they're like, oh, you're due there in 30 minutes, and the next thing you know, it's like, oh, I'm not driving to El Cajon, I'm actually due in Cajon in 30 minutes. And I mean, just no better way to screw up your grade than by one of Amazon's blatant errors like this. But it was one of those things. Obviously, I didn't book it. The thing that had me interested in it, though, was like it was by my house. And it was about the time I was going to go pick my daughter up from school. And so I left a little bit early, and I just drove that way. Because like a truck out there, I mean, unless somebody decided to go to the casino, you never see Amazon trailers out there, period. So drove out there, didn't see the trailer. I have no doubt that it was in Cajon, but the fact that they showed El Cajon on the map was like, man, this is setting somebody up. I mean, this is setting somebody up for failure. And unfortunately, it's going to be their grade that pays the price for this. All right, made it back to the little car. Did I come out for 175 tonight? Lou's going to get in my way here. Yes, I did. I absolutely did. And you know, you might be thinking like, why'd you make this into a video? I think it's important I show you nights like this. I never want to be accused of misrepresenting what Amazon is. This hasn't happened to me in a while, but I came out tonight chasing what would you call it? Chasing the carrot, and you know, I got the stick, and I'm sitting here left wondering, like, you know, was the goal to get, you know, who knows who else they called? You know, maybe they sent a couple guys down there and, you know, offering $600 to run up to San Bernardino, and maybe that was the carrot, and the stick was all the little low-paying Vista to some third-party site up in like Paris somewhere for less than $200. Maybe that was the goal. The thing about me, I do not. I don't fall for that stuff. And it could not even be a trick. Maybe it's just coincidence that those things happen. But it's like, if, you know, an important thing to have with Amazon is like your stop loss. How long am I going to sit here and wait before I'm going to call it a night? And, you know, hey, I went out for $175 tonight. I kept an eye on that load board for the 2 hours I was waiting for my departure time to happen. And then I watched it the whole way home. And nothing ever dropped, and that's really light for especially this time of night in San Diego, but it is what it is. Came out for 175, calling it a night. I wish this video were more exciting. I wish more stuff happened, but I mean, there will be nights like this, I promise you that. As always, appreciate you for watching. Hope this video serves you well. Take care.